Alright, get some more work done today. Today's my day off, Sunday. Looks like it's about 5 o'clock almost. Instead of working on my stuff and having fun, I get to work on crap. So, spent all week working on other heads, didn't get all the stuff done, so we're going to work on these. Need to get them done. So this set of 80-inch Evo heads that they want a little bit more power out of them. Doing these for another shop. They sent me some big ass valves to put in here. I don't know why. Waste of money. But whatever, that's what they want. So I'm going to go ahead and put valves in here, cut the seats a little bit bigger for them. Determine how much compression I want to lose to gain power. They're running flat top pistons, so I'm going to kill compression when I cut the head out here to make more flow. When you put an oversized valve, you get cut even more out, even lower the compression, so you lose, lose, lose. Whoopee. And they want low RPM mid-range power, not top end, so that's another negative. That's called mismatched components. So anyway, that's what the shop wants, that's what they're going to get. So we're going to go ahead and do a valve job in here, do some bowl porting in here. There's a big lip under here, under the seat. We'll cut that out. A little bit on the exhaust, that'll be gone also. And we'll just make them work better. Parts are pretty simple, just knock out the stuff that's in the way and they work. So, alright, so let's get our tripod over here. Obviously I've already worked on these a little bit earlier in the week. Just never got them done. Oh well, that's what day offs are for. Catch up time. Too busy doing videos and returning comments, not making money. Oh well. Life in the big city, right? First thing I do is bolt the heads down to the table. I didn't replace the guides on these because they were halfway decent. And the customer, or whatever, they didn't want me to do it. So, they're still okay. They're within specs, so they're fine. A little loose never hurt anybody. That's how I like my stuff. Well broken in before I run that snot out of it. It lasts longer that way. When everything's nice and tight, you can't run it very hard. It breaks. I've had arguments about that too in the comments because dumbasses don't know how to ride a bike. Or what happens when you do ride one hard. So there's a lot of broken stuff out there. Out of order. See, I'm already tired. I haven't done anything yet. Alright, let's see what size these are. Perfect, that'll work. A little bit on the big, small side. Yeah, this should be higher. These are too small because the guides are too loose. So we gotta go up there and get a different one. So these should be the third group, which is way loose, or big in this case. Let's try it. A big one. So this is our big pilot. So these are tapered, so when they go down this far, you're a little small. When they only go in this far, you got a problem. There you go. That one's in there about this far in from the top. After we put it in, it'll be about that far. It'll be just about right. That's another way of knowing your size is a little loose. You gotta use the biggest pilots. The other loose. Just wedge them in there a little bit. I'm not trying to push them all the way through, but they gotta be tight. Alright, got a little level here. You gotta level the heads out. So they'll cut straight. First we gotta change the plate angle. Camera works the best. Control how far you're moving it real easy. You need just a little bit extra, you give it a little tap. A little more, you give it a harder tap. It's hard to push something. You have very little control when you're pushing on stuff. Got really good control with the hammer. I'm going to do it the other angle. The head's on a dowel pin pivoting, so I can put it where you want it to be. There's 2 bolts underneath I'm tightening. Alright. Yeah, I missed that by a bunch. Yep. And I'm going the wrong way. See, when you're looking at something from an angle, it looks different. There we go. Oh, it's too far that way. That looks better. Alright, there's one down. So there's your level. Pretty close. Go that way. So that head's pretty straight. I'll go to the next one. It's way off this way because I haven't turned the head yet, but it should be straight this way with the other head. Ah, this one's pretty close. That means the guides are set in at the correct angle and not worn out. That's good. You'd be surprised how many times that's not good. Even brand new heads I've had way off. Okay, that's decent. Alright, I get this one close. It's pretty close that way. Looks pretty good this way. Go back and check this head, make sure it didn't move on you. See, the plate tends to move a little bit. See how it moved? So that one's almost a full line off, not quite. Which way is this one off? About the same way, so we got to move the plate. So use a little tap, use the hard side of the hammer, helps better. There you go, so that one's on the, right on the edge on that one, the other one will be a edge on the other side. See, it's on the edge on this side. So your air factor is whatever that little quarter of a mark is. Otherwise, no, it's pretty damn close. So the heads are in good shape. The guides are pretty good. They're not off. They're loose, but they're straight. So that's all good. Now, hopefully the seats will line up where they used to be, but you'd be surprised how many times the seats are off. For whatever reason. Now let's move it in. Do our cutting. Okay, this is a stock exhaust. We just got done doing a S head, so that means this cutter here should be already preset. So I don't do a 3-angle valve job. I do 3 angles plus a couple radiuses and some weird shapes down here at the end. Called a form cutter. 3 angles is an old way of doing stuff. Still works good though, but it is old. Nothing wrong with old. One thing about old, it worked back then, it works now too. New fancy stuff doesn't always work. And this machine's not fancy, it's 20 years old. They actually obsoleted it, they don't make it no more. Okay, so now we can see what the difference is between the old one and the new one. So if you look in there, you can see how the cutter's going to bore out the inside of the throat in there and cut quite a bit of it out. So I can use this cutter to do that, or I can go in there and bore that out right now with my pocket cutter that I just got done using on another bike. And you stick that in there and you cut the piss out of it. And you bore that hole out, make it run better. You just have to figure out how big you want to make it. that is the option. How big do you go? So I don't want to go as big as I did on the last job, because the last job was a 113-inch motor. This one's an 80-inch motor. You don't want to use the same size for both. Even though the valve's the same, you don't want the ports to be the same. Big port, small motor don't make good riding bike on the street. Alright, so what I do is I measure the valve. And remember, they put oversized valves in this damn thing, so let's see how big oversized. You get these stupid high tulip angles I don't like at all. So you do a back cut, you're pretty much into the valve. I do not like this style of valve. Okay, this one is, let's see, was that 0 when I started? Yep, it was. Now, this is not a digital caliper, it's a dial caliper. So this one you have to actually read. So this is 628, so 608 is standard for an S&S motor. 615 or so, 12 to 15 is stock for Evo. This one's about 10 thou bigger. Alright. So for a street motor, you run about 150 thou less than this for what you make your pocket for, up to 175 thou less, depending on where you want the power range to be. So if we knock this down a little bit, so that's 100, 25, 30, 40, 55, 50, right there. Saying I do math, I just watch the dial go in a circle. Now if I had a digital caliper, then I got to do math. So you digital caliper, you got to do math. You have to go like this, measure it. See, that was 476. Where's my valve at? This one's 628, 1 thou. Yeah, within 1 thou that one. Now you got to do math. You got to take 150 thou off of that number. Versus the other one, I don't have to do math in my head. I just do dials. Some people can't do math, so this works good. Okay, so anyway, what do we got here? Actually, dumbass went the wrong direction. See? Oops. We gotta go smaller. Go this direction. There's your 100. So then you go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And we go a little extra, make it even. 75. So now it's going to be, the inside of the port will be like this relative to the valve, which is pretty tight. Harley's a pretty performance motor, relative to a car, so you run bigger sizes. Okay, what's this one at? Looks like the same size. So that's what I used on the last job. Alright, so that looked like a big cut coming out of that thing. Probably more than I want to go though. But whatever. They want more power. That's a big valve. I'd rather not have that big a valve in there. So let's see how much smaller the port is right now. $375, that's 100 thou difference. Big change. Okay, so I was at 75, I'm going to drop it down a little bit further. So I'm going to take our cutter right here. Got our setting tool over here. The mic over here. Blow it up a little bit. So this sets how big the cutter is. Okay, we're at 30 right now. I'm going to drop 20 more off. So we're trying to do a torque motor and he put an oversized valve in it, so. So this micrometer head right here sets where the bit is put. And then this here tells you what number you should be at. So we're at 410 plus I have no turn, so it's 460. In case you don't know how to read a mic, every turn is 25 thou. It's a standard. Okay, so now we take this out, and this should be around 425. or 455, excuse me. I said 460 on there. It always cuts a little different. This is 2 thou under, which is about normal, because these don't cut exactly on sides. They cut slightly bigger, so the tool compensates for the overcut. Alright, so now I'm going to bore that out. Now the reason I bored out with this instead of this is because when this is cutting in here, it's shoving this thing side to side, which knocks your seat off center. You want to be on center with your valve face. Otherwise the valve doesn't seal very good. So this knocks out the proportion of metal we don't want in there anyway. And that makes it a lot easier for this to cut. So there you go. Alright, where are we at here? There's my holder. And there's a little springy dingy. Keeps the cutter off the head, see? Get closer, we can see better. Actually, further back, so I got elbow room. Somebody had turned the air on. Some dumbass did not turn the air line on. There's a valve down there I got to turn on. Oh, we have air. Oh, we have an air leak now. I got to listen to the air leak. There. I fixed that leak. That one was leaking. Now we got 2 more leaks. The one back there and the one down here. Alright, back to doing what important work is around here. Just an air chuck. This head floats on air up here. So it goes back and forth off the air. It's also how it centers. Self-center as many times you want to. Then we do some cutting. What do you mean that's too close? Okay, so now we do a nice big cut. So you see the big cut mark in there, how much we're cutting away? We're cutting out a lot. So this is going to be a lot higher flow in that seat. So it's going to let the exhaust out of the motor. So now you don't need an extra 10 degrees of duration on your exhaust cam because it's got a freer path to get out. Right, we have a hole in there now. Okay, so now instead of having a lip underneath coming up, which I don't know if you can see under here, it's a lip. Now we have a lip going down because now the whole port's going to get bigger. So you can see how much bigger the seat is right now than this one, just by opening that up. Makes it flow a lot better. It also kills the low end, so you gotta be careful. Remember, everything's a trade-off around here. Okay, so now I need to. I guess I'll have to reset my cutter. I'm gonna reset it anyway. Okay, this is my special cutter that I made years ago. This is for cutting the outside of the chamber, but it also works good for inside the port. It has a nice parabolic curve in it. So when you go like this, make it real small, it fits inside the port. So that, you just go down and adjust it till it touches. too much. Alright. Now this will cut the inside of the port out. Basically does a lot of the work for me, porting. And let the machine do the work. It goes a lot faster. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to blow out this other hole over here. That way I can set my depth stop. Alright. That one's opened up again. Clean off my spindle here. Gets a little sticky when you get residue on it from breathing. Okay, where's my other cutter? Okay, now we're going to take our inside cutter. I'm going to cut the inside out. Get the spring out of the way. Aluminum so you cut faster. Yep. As far as we're going to go. Pilots are sticking up too high. I bottomed out right there, see? It won't let me go down. Just goes upside the head and stops at a certain point. So I can't do that with this pilot. So I either don't do my job or I have to change pilot. See, I just started to cut that right there. See how this one's sharp? This one's just getting dulled in. So I just started cutting it when I ran out of room. Alright, so I gotta change pilots. Luckily pilots are straight, they repeat pretty closely going in and out, so you don't really change too much. I just don't like them being there real deep. The further in there in here, you got less support in your tooling. When you go in really, really deep like these do, it doesn't work quite as good. The taper gets more coarse at the end. So it didn't quite center up as good. It's better to be in the sweet spot than off a little bit. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Tribot's fighting me there. To work with. Go a little deeper. Yeah, a little bit, not much deeper. It's a judgment call how far to go. Dug in something there. That means you dug into the spring. Alright, big difference. So now, you cut a bunch of metal out in there, see? right down to where we're starting to get into the radius down below there, so it's far enough. So this one has not been cut yet, so it's in a stock bowl. This one has been opened up. So it's opened up around the whole diameter evenly. So when you pour it to those dimensions, and everything's nice and round and true. It's hard to make a nice even round hole by hand. It's very difficult. Now, what was that clunk when I came out? Still lightly rubbing, so we were alright. Catches on a spring when you come out sometimes. Tries to break the cutter off. I don't want to break my cutter off. It's a very expensive cutter. I don't even have to even make them anymore. I don't think I have any more extra ones. I think I used them all up. Okay, there we go. Now that one's cut out. Okay. It doesn't look like it's quite as deep, see? That's probably because the cutter has changed dimensions slightly, or the ports are a little bit different. It's hard to believe, but Harley does not make equal ports when they're made. What a shocker. We're not even touching anything right now, so the cutter has moved in from being jammed in. So go back and reset. There we go. Yeah, looks a little better. So now I look a little bit more closer. Still not quite the same depth, but it's pretty close. Alright, so that part's done. So now we're just doing the valve job. Okay, I'm going to change these two pilots back out to the other ones. Camera. There it goes. Back over here, more room. Everything's a back and forth process around here. Alright. Those are the big ones. Okay, these are the big ones, those are the small ones. I had that backwards. Okay, now we're done with this. Turn that off. Put that one away. Okay. Now we can actually use a seat cutter. We're going to cut our seat. Theoretically, this should be slightly too small because that valve is about 8 thou bigger. Well, actually, it's bigger than that. I think I use the S&S valve. It's about 20 thou bigger valve. So this should be too small. So we'll probably come back and recut. We'll at least see where we're at. Make sure we're centered. Grinding noise is in there. Hard spot or uneven spot. Uneven. Okay, that was the initial cut. It's not 100% clean because I want to do a size check. So it's been opened up now. You can see the top angle just above, right below my fingernail is. There's an angle change right there, just barely above the top. So we're getting full diameter right now what the seat cutter would be. The chunky noise is there's a hard spot in there, uneven. See, it's not cleaned on this side over here. So you get that chunky noise. Those are always fun noises to have. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little lapping compound on it and see where we're at on this valve face. We're a little bit on the small side, but this is a conservative street application, so you run a little bit further down the valve face for these kind of applications, so it all works out probably about the same when you're done. You take into consideration everything when you do a job. Not all jobs are the same. Enough. So there's your lap. Okay, so you can see how the seat's way down on the valve, and it's got a big shiny spot above it. It's right up against my back cut angle in here, so we're a little bit too small. A little bit smaller than I want it to be. So we're going to open the valve up just a little bit bigger. That's why I didn't fully cut this. I cut it just enough to get an edge. So I'm going to take this cutter, loosen up, and slide it out just a little bit more. Just by eyeball. Just a little bit. And come back and you can see how much you moved it by looking at it under here. Don't have my flashlight with me right this second. Use the camera. So now you're going to see it's going to cut on the outside just a little bit bigger. If you put a little bit of marking compound right there, you would see that it's cutting on the inside of the cutter, not where you're at. Alright, so I didn't change it very much, it looks like, because that's almost nothing different. It's more than you think, I bet. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and cut this one. Do the same thing. Get a light cut, and we'll come back and double check. Same deal, I just went until I just cleaned, barely cleaned. So now you can see it's right at the very top. You can barely even see the little shiny mark right above the top. There, that's the seat. This is your inner angle here that's left, and everything else I bored out when I cut the seat way out. So 90% of all those angles on that cutter I eliminated when I bored the hole out. I like going faster. Okay, I'm going to take the same one that's already been ground so you can see how shiny it is on the edge. I'm going to relap this same valve because you only get one shot at doing these things, and we're going to get two on this one. Once it's lapped, you can't see the new lap mark because it overlaps. Well, we know we're going higher up, so that's all we care about. I go too far, I can always go back and use the other valve. Okay, so now you can see the shiny mark is now less than what it was. So that makes me more happier. So now you should have a little more on the inside edge that we can't see right now because it's already been lapped there. So it's still pretty conservative for me. I usually run about half that. So. But it's an oversized valve, so it's already bigger. Okay, so now I can go ahead and cut the full seat and get a good finish. You should be good to go. Get interrupted on my day off. We'll be back.